Look at that. He's making me cry.
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the Edge of Civility.
You're listening to The Mean Geek, episode 179.
Right, so now that we're done talking about Raquel Welch and fucking Anne Margaret...
Can you ever be done talking about that?
You really can't. You know, I own 4 different versions of Fantastic Voyage.
I've never seen that movie.
Never?
Never.
Dude!
Shocking, right?
Is it streaming?
I have no idea.
Put that shit on now!
I do own Raquel Welch movies, but mostly westerns or spy movies.
The spies are probably better than the westerns from...
No, man, she's in 100 Rifles with Jim Brown and Burt Reynolds. She's in Bandolero with Jimmy Stewart.
Oh.
She has her own western, Handy Calder, where she gets raped, and then goes on a hunt for them with
great.
Jack Elam. Yeah, there's a classic.
Because that's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What?
But spy-wise, she's in Fathom. And what's the other one I have? Some movie about
but the outfit's
stuntmen.
got to be better in the spy flicks, though.
Oh, well, the outfits are best in friggin'... What are you talking about?
Fantastic Voyage, man. She got the sci-fi bodysuit going on.
I don't know, man. Mother Jugs and Speed with the EMT outfit.
Okay, now that we've mentioned a Bill Cosby movie that references titties in the title,
You don't hear that
I think
every
we
day.
should move on to comics.
You just don't get a lot of Raquel Welch references in this day and age.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to The Mean Geek, comics podcasting on the Edge of Civility. I'm your host, Detect Jedi, Adrian Hunter. With me, as always, is my co-host. No fancy grammatical bullshit this week. It's just the Reverend Mad Duck.
Quackity, quackity,
Bill
bitches.
McGinnis. I really think we ought to send out fucking quack bitches shirts to Guam. I think we just send them in a relief package. Does Guam need relief?
They need relief from not having quack bitches t-shirts. See, if we had known earlier on when we tried merchandising for the 4 seconds that we actually attempted it, we could have gotten away with. Dude, quack bitches t-shirt would have sold.
I may try it on the ECC 15, man. Emerald City 15. Look for them.
Because think about it, like it's so obscure, but it's like what you really want is one that you don't have to necessarily understand to wear and enjoy.
Well, sure. Because people just go, quack bitches. It's fucking done.
That's exactly how it works. What was my button plan? Didn't I have a button one too?
Yeah, but we never wrote anything down about it. That's the other thing. You know, someday we have to put some effort into this shit.
I'm an alcoholic merchandising genius.
And I just jack off to...
La la
Anyway,
la la my oh
no-
my, look like the boy too shy. Yes, I break out when I'm uncomfortable and Disney songs.
Calypso?
Yeah, whoopsie. Any worse and we'll be hearing Jungle Book songs, and those are not good. So
No. All right, well, no more Jeff emulating channel. I'm not channeling Jeff anymore. Fuck this.
What?
What? Jeff.
Oh.
Breakdown?
Oh, okay.
I don't think there was any major geeky news this week, was
Did
there?
we go over female Thor?
We
and, did.
Yeah, we talked about that real quick because we had to fill out the DC
Captain
episode
Falcon.
with nothing else.
Did we talk about Captain Falcon too?
Yes, because that all happened the same week.
Let's see. We discovered, for those of you who DCBS, that there was a weird glitch in DC.
Yeah, DC has got some weird thing with their Futures End horse shit where I didn't get to order anything because they're not publish anything for September because they made us buy it all in fucking May. Weirdos. Anyhow, this is Indie Night, which means...
Throw me the idol, I throw you the whip. Yeah, I went there.
It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage.
I am the monarch of the sea. We can have an entire podcast of just Indiana Jones quotes, and it would be remarkably better than our regular scheduled podcast.
Really would. Why don't we just do that? We can skip this,
Bad
next week.
dates.
They're digging in the wrong place. You know what? Dumb. Speaking of weird accents, supposedly Egyptian accents.
What an incredibly weird segue into the world's most minor conversation piece ever. Speaking of random weird Egyptian accents, no, we weren't in any way, shape, or form.
Somebody on Salah.
Sweet
Salah's
Keenan
accents.
Wynn goodness.
Anyway, for like a week now, I've been saying to myself in the voice from the Magi from The Mummy.
Oh dear God.
You want the shotgun? No, I prefer the Thompson. Because it just amuses me. I don't know why. It's just stupid.
I haven't watched The Mummy in a long
The first one was better than the
long
second,
time.
which was, don't mention the third.
The second had the Zeppelin.
Yes.
Yeah, that movie sucked. Monkey.
I think the first is a viable adventure film.
I did not like it as much as you did. I remember being very annoyed, but it was,
I think Brendan Fraser could have pulled out an adventure character.
he did really in that one. The problem was that they kept going and there were no legs in the
And
story.
they started getting weirder and weirder every story.
the Zeppelins.
Pygmy, zombie, mummy fucking things.
The Rock.
Yes.
The Scorpion King.
Anyway, so that all came about because we said the word indie.
As in independent.
So, we're going to start off with our several dark horses tonight.
Now, of the indies, which is the publisher you most look forward to generally?
I really do like everything that Dark Horse that we actually get from Dark Horse. But soon there won't be any Star Wars to get from Dark Horse.
I always peg you for Image because the high books, between Revival and Saga, which are your two pretty much favorite indie books.
Well, you interrupted me.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. While I do enjoy all of the Dark Horses, there's the volume and the quality of the images are top tier. They're the ones I was like, aha, very good. Revival's here, Saga's here. We get to try something weird with trees here. They've always got something to start with, which is, wow, so fucking different from 1992.
Oh, yeah, what are we watching, by the way, sir?
Oh, we're watching Piranha, circa 1978.
Piranha, Bahama, come on, pretty mama.
You are wrong. You are a bad co-host. You are a bad man.
Dude, I'm the co-host.
Yeah, which
thought
means I'm the host.
I always thought I was the host.
No, you knew that. You knew better than that. Jesus, what's wrong with you? And who cooks an entire fish that they don't even take the head off?
French.
Do they?
Yeah, I remember we went out to eat in Paris, and somebody put a fish head on the entire fish sitting on my plate, and I'm like, no. Y'all don't know me that well, but no, that shit will not fly. Take your fish eyes and go, freak.
Ew. So we start with the Goon, which is a Billy book. And I didn't find it too bad, but it's a one-shot with it's totally inconsequential to anything.
I entirely got this because of the cover, which is not something I normally do, as you well know. Like, I actually hate that kind of thing. But when you get Jack Davis from Mad Magazine to do a Goon cover, like, my shit is in. Like,
No, it is an excellent cover, make no mistake. But all they do, literally, the entire issue, is wander around from bar to bar to find someone who's already gone home.
yes. Yeah, it is literally pointless. Maybe as a introduction to the Goon, but it really doesn't do any world delving.
No. You don't know why they're here. They don't even know what town they're in. You just know it's a seaport because the Navy's there.
Yeah, basically you're like, okay, the Goon is really large, and Frankie might be some sort of alcoholic hobbit. So it's not even overly helpful from that perspective. I enjoyed it. Like, I like the fact that they were making fun of Navy guys. And
Yes,
your
that I enjoyed.
Your classic lost Navy guy. Like, it's a fun little story. Like, the Goon just straddles so many genres and storylines, and here we're 40s, and now we're like, crude humor, and we have vampires, but they're awful, and we have zombies, but they're worse. And Mexican wrestling fans, yes, we've got that. Monster movie, sure, covered. Like, it's just such a bizarre book. And I believe you have ordered a full miniseries based on my ordering this.
Well, you like the Goon, right?
I do like the Goon, so
You
we'll be
wanted
seeing.
it, right?
I wanted this, and then we carried on, and I'm like, oh, fuck it. I will totally pay for more Goon.
Oh, well, it turned out to be a good call then.
But do you remember when we first tried it out, and you're like, dude, I hate this with every
Yes.
fiber of my being?
That's right. I did. I was like, I don't understand it. I don't know why this guy's saying anything.
Why does that guy have poop on his hands? Like,
You know, I had forgotten that part. Thank you very much, Mr. McGinnis.
if I got to be the co-host, man, you got to deal with stuff like that. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I guess it was fun enough in a limited kind of way.
This was much more approachable than some of the other Goon stories.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true. Absolutely. But still, in all, it's the Goon.
Yeah.
So it's just a big, dumb guy who punches shit and drinks. With this little guy who thinks he's smarter than he is, who drinks
And stabs people.
and stabs people. I didn't remember the stabbing part.
Not in this one, but in
Well,
general.
really, that's us.
Yeah,
Except,
yeah.
except for the violence.
And the big part, yes.
Pretty fucking big, as it
Dude,
stands.
well, wide is not tall, son.
All right, so Conan the Avenger. Number 3. Wow. Devil Pig, whoever the fuck he is, kills Ambula, whoever the fuck he is. The Witchfinder
Conan team is just not something like
No.
years from now. No one's going to be talking about the Witchfinder and Conan.
No, nobody. The poor Witchfinder guy has to eat some shit for his failure to save the village or whatever. And there's some bizarre flashback to Conan's dad pontificating about strength, which I didn't care about because I saw the movie.
Been there, read that, bought the T-shirt.
Tanaoa or Tanada or whatever the fuck that joint is was attacked. Conan skips out on a couple of hookers, which amused me mildly. It's Conan. Of course he's going to skip out on the hookers.
No, it's Conan. Of course, he's going to take advantage of said. Like, the thing is, this is a totally acceptable Conan book. At no point is this a exceptional
Right.
Conan book. You're like, all right, I can see Conan doing all these things. You've read plenty of Conans. Even if you don't like Conan, if you collect comics, you visited this area enough times.
Eventually,
to know
one
he's going to
time or
stab some
another.
shit. He's probably going to steal something. Women are going to fall for him, and he's going to take advantage of that unless it's awkward or there's some sort of nobility code that somehow plays in, except when it doesn't.
Which is a thing that happens quite frequently in Conan.
Yes, my noble nature will not allow me to take advantage of you until you throw yourself at me a second time, and then I'm like, fuck it.
Oh, wow. The stop motion random animal in the lab that, ew, looks like an iguana. with a
What
fin.
in Sam fuck was that?
And this guy just keeps boozing it up out of a giant
Dude.
military canteen.
If there was a half piranha, half fucking Harryhausen monster walking around, I would be boozing it up. No, I like Conan. I don't see Conan the Avenger going past the initial 6. Like, I'm just not...
Nah, it's not hitting.
It's not connecting the way I want it to.
It really isn't. We gotta stop already. Jesus. Yeah, so... bleh.
It's
Really.
not terrible. Like, I'm not going to knock the book and be like, you should not read this. It's just... It's kind of like later Savage Sword. Or a lot of the
Where it gets very
barbarian storylines.
formulaic.
Right.
Yeah.
It's some guy's take. And I like Fred Van Lente. But his take on Conan is not thrilling me to the point where, like, ooh, this is new ground. There's no new ground in this whatsoever.
Not yet. And
And-
better hurry up if it's gonna get any.
Yeah, because right now the formula is not playing out well in these hands.
No.
The
Not
art
yet.
is solid. The Conan stab stuff, and women still like him. So, I mean, all the shit you're looking for is there, but the pieces are not equaling a total
Yeah.
that I want.
Is this yours?
Yeah.
You are buying those? Take it out of my hands. Boy.
Yes. One of us collects Conan, one does not.
Yes. So that's our judgment on said book. So, which gives us now we're getting somewhere.
Lobster
Now we
Johnson.
got Lobster Johnson.
Get the lobster.
Number 3. Number 3? Number 4.
Four. Already up
Excuse
to
me.
4.
Excuse me. The fuck all the hell I'm gone. I don't know why that came out that way.
Now, a quick aside before we go into specific plot points.
Yeah?
I am obviously a huge Mignolaverse fan.
Right.
And you've embraced Baltimore, but I feel like if you find... Are you going to start picking up Lobster graphics? Because I feel like this, right after Baltimore, this is your guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you
That's
do
good
seem
shit.
more excited about
good.
the Lobster.
It's good shit.
So we find out that police commissioner has the same erratic brain surgery that thwarted Devil Dwarf and the Russian wrestler.
Right.
And there's the best sentence you're ever going to hear in your entire life.
Lobster escapes by going down the sewers, which I guess was, you know...
Is the sewer a comic trope? Like, at this point, is it just a fiction trope? Like,
It's fiction. It's fiction. I mean, quick! This drain leads to the sewer.
I've run from a few
Does it
people,
really?
including the occasional cop, sadly.
I have never been in a building that had a drain that goes straight to the sewer.
I have not either, but I've never once considered, like, maybe I could hide in the sewer.
Yeah. And also, you know, I live in Detroit, which is essentially one giant sewer.
It's a little drier.
It's a teeny bit drier. It's still never been in a building that had direct access to the fucking sewage.
And
So,
yay!
whatever. So it was kind of funny because he's like, I got to get out of here. But I'm going to shoot the commissioner first.
Well, he did give him a lot of opportunities to stop throwing grenades at him, and,
Yes, he
and
did.
he wouldn't do it. You know, say nothing for Lobster Johnson, but he's nothing but fair. It's like, all right, I would like to not shoot any police. Oh, that's another grenade. Fuck you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you hit your grenade quota, and then you kept going. I try to be considerate, vigilante, anti-hero, but 8 grenades is too goddamn many.
I tried to be considerate.
Vigilante, anti-hero.
So now that he's escaped, he goes and confronts Waxman, who is, you know, the big muckety muck. He fights Mechanical Arm fella, or whatever the fuck his name was, because I can't keep track of this shit. Wald, whoever the fuck he is obsessed with pirates and upset with Peter Lorre.
Peter Lorre is like so
Does that
bizarrely
character
aside.
even have a fucking
I'm sure he
name?
does, but Peter Lorre just works better.
It does.
But yes, the best thing about this whole book is the idea that because of the way the Mignolaverse works,
Yeah.
we're eventually going to see a pirate Lobster Johnson storyline.
I'll bet we
And,
will.
and I'm like, I buy all the Lobster Johnsons. I guarantee you may be buying graphics, but if there's a pirate Lobster Johnson, you're buying all 5 alongside.
Oh yeah,
me.
I'll get those individually. Absolutely right.
There's not one chance that you're not picking up on pirate lobster.
Mark 2 in the spreadsheet column. So that's fun, but I know you were just like, you had to change your shorts when the end comes and he fights a mechanical gorilla.
You know, I was pretty happy. I love that there's just such little glimpses of Hellboy here and Sapien here. It's a very self-contained universe, but the Lobster has his own bizarre little quirky side world.
Yep.
It's great stuff. And the last couple have not been as awesome as this, so this is a welcome.
That's a much better one, yes.
You know, compare, what was it, the Smell of Lotus 2-parter, like the
Satan Smells a Rat.
Yep, that was a one
then
shot,
there
and
was
then there was the Lotus one.
Scent of Lotus.
Yes,
Yes.
and neither of those hit quite the peak of the 5-part. I'm sorry, everything that happens is just bizarre and wacky, and the Lobster's in the middle of it, and he's gonna get away, and he's not even gonna be sure how, and you sure as fuck won't know. By the way, he's got sidekicks, and he might be dead. You never know with a Lobster.
Oh, look at him, he's pouring an entire 5th in that fucking canteen, man. That's a quart of booze, dude. What are you doing with that thing?
Dude, with a beard and a flannel. Apparently, I am the star of Piranha. I might actually have better hair than this dude. I've never said that out loud. Holy guacamole.
Only about bald dudes, but whatever. It's a fine line. Whatever. Yeah. So, you know, much better. We enjoyed it more.
Always endorse Lobster Johnson.
Yes. Star Wars Rebel Heist number 3. 1, 2, 3. Did you get your Chewie fill?
Dude, I will literally buy the graphic of this, but I still may buy this issue just because it's all Chewie. Honestly, because of this book, Matt Kent is a writer that I will pay attention to. he has a good feel for the original Star Wars characters, and yet there's a bigger story happening here, and it's all moving forward in a weird yet consistent way.
Right.
You get each issue is basically about two things. You have the overlying storyline with a bunch of like rebellion scum sidekick characters, and then you have the underlying revelations about each character's personalities.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Han Solo is a gambler who doesn't care about his own life. Princess Leia is way tougher than any princess ought to be. And Chewbacca is a particularly sensitive, bloodthirsty savage.
Particularly sensitive, bloodthirsty savage.
And that's who he is. And that's
He
fine.
totally
you know.
is. It's true.
It's like, oh, he
It
cares
nailed
about Han.
it.
While he's eating that robot, he's worrying about Han Solo.
Now, the thing is, Chewie has to lead around this Imperial who has codes encoded into his DNA but has turned traitor. Right?
Yeah.
You got that? Okay,
I
good.
honestly don't care.
Now, you don't care because Chewie fought an octopus.
Yeah, honestly, but the plot is almost secondary to the character in this. But Kint has the plot does move, like everything, to do both those things. Like, if it was just 4 miniseries, single issues, like, here's some depth into the character, you'd be like, dude, this is kind of lame.
A little bit. Yeah, you need some kind of framework.
And if
for
it
all
was
that.
just the rebellion plot where the characters were slipping in and out, you'd be like, okay, can we get every single Star Wars character in here with no thought to it? But he's really meshed these two ideas into a particularly compelling book.
Yeah.
The Dark Horse Star Wars is at that peak. I mean, the Star Wars is over.
Finally.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. The
really
shitty book
dead,
is finally
really
dead.
dead.
But like this miniseries is amazing. Brian Wood's Star Wars is amazing, and it's like, oh, you finally figured shit out. Bye.
Yeah. There's like, all right, motherfuckers, we're going out with a bang. We're teaching these bitches how to do Star Wars.
I can only hope that the graphics come out for all this stuff before Dark Horse loses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of there are a couple of the Wood Star Wars trades out now.
Yeah, and I'll be picking those up. And if this comes out, this is the best Star Wars miniseries since Return of the Jedi, people. Like, you have not gotten this good. I know you're partial to Dark Empire, so fine. Since Dark Empire, I'll give you that one. But what else since then? One of those fucking Boba Fett monstrosities?
No. Oh, goodness, no. The Boba
Darth
Fett ones are
Vader
terrible.
and the Lost Empire? I mean, I liked the James Bond Empire character, but
Yeah, Agent of the Empire.
nothing in that was anywhere near as good as this.
Nope. All true. All true. Leaving us with the pen to the penultimate. Star Wars 18. There's only two
So
issues
it ends
left.
at 20 then?
Yep.
Okay.
It's over at 20. The battle at Arrochar escalates, and the Emperor forbids Vader from joining the battle because Vader's got to be a bitch, apparently. I never understand why they have to sideline him all the time. Let him in there, he'll fuck shit up.
Well, you know why? Because Brian Wood is writing this based on Star Wars, not Empire. Or, sorry, Star Wars and Empire. Not Return of the Jedi, not all the stuff that followed. And the Emperor, like, Vader was the coolest, darkest, most horrible thing in the world, but he did get his ass handed to him by his boss a lot. Like, think about the first Star Wars.
Yeah.
Grand Moff Tarkin's like, dude, you and your pesky religion, like, you're uber powerful. Yeah, you're scary. You have a weird, creepy voice box thingamajigger.
Yeah,
but you know what?
release him.
I've got working nuts, so Vader, like, back off. I haven't fallen in lava any time this year.
Holy crap. That's just evil.
Dude, it takes Christopher Lee to backtalk fucking Darth Vader, but yeah, there's a piranha eating Keenan Wynn.
Is that what that guy's name is?
Yeah, the mechanic from The Great Race.
I don't watch The Great Race.
I mean, I told you to watch The Great Race. Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon. I totally made you watch that movie.
I was thinking of the fucking
Amazing Race.
Yes, that. Never mind. Okay. So yeah, Even though he orders the orbital bombardment, he doesn't get to join the battle. So the prince, who has been plotted against by the viceroy, kills the viceroy. Viceroy. Leia and Mon Mothma fight their way out.
Werewolf.
There, wolf. There, castle. Why are you talking like that? I thought you wanted to talk like that. I don't want to talk like that. Fine by me. I'm easy.
Great movie. Young Frankenstein, people. Rent it.
I let my pop, No, it's fucking 8:15. I'm not answering a contractor's phone call. Go fuck yourself.
I'm more concerned with your ringtone there, Captain.
It's the default
late
one.
80s.
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Some Steve Winwood action coming on in there.
What? Anyhow.
You said you lent your pop.
My 9-disc Mel Brooks Blu-ray set.
I still haven't gotten that from you.
And when I showed up to the house, they were playing Young Frankenstein.
I need to borrow that just so I can see 12 Chairs. I've literally never seen that movie.
You might be able to live your whole life. And
I gotta know, though, you know?
Yeah. I'm with you. That was the first one I popped into.
All Mel Brooks is all you really need is Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles. That's all.
History of the World?
That's all you really need. Like, History of the World is awesome. I like Spaceballs, but all you really need is Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, comedy genius. Everything else is just incidental. And yes, we went from Star Wars to fucking Mel Brooks.
Which is just fine, really.
Oh, shit, somebody ate his feet.
Yeah. The piranha. Anyway. So,
dude, that guy looks like an offshoot Christian Bale.
Ew. So, Leia and Mon Mothma fight their way out of the city and engage the ion cannons. Boom, boom. That ends the book. So it was a roughly satisfying issue. It wasn't amazing.
It chose trope B, which is the prince didn't know about it and actually cared about Leia, as opposed to the trope A that he was in on it. One thing that's really frustrating in Star Wars is, and you're just going to turn this into one of your stupid requests for tech guides, but they have all they have all these ridiculous weaponry, and they're all amazingly powerful, and they're thermal detonators, Death Stars, ion can. It's like,
well, a thermal detonator is just a fancy name for a grenade. There's nothing interesting.
But it's an uber scary grenade.
I suppose so.
Like they're blasters are like after blasters, everything in Star Wars, like you pull it out and everyone's like, oh my god, he's got that. It's either hand weapons or universe destroyers, Right, and so they make ion cannons, which, I remember the ion cannons not taking out AT-AT successfully. And they start fucking up.
What?
No?
No.
Well, all right, where was the ion cannon then?
The ion cannon is the giant
Return to the Star Wars fucking
thing.
In
Empire. It was the only time you ever saw it.
And what did they do with it?
It disables larger vessels.
Oh, when they're escaping Hoth.
Yes.
Okay. So I had Hoth right, but I turned it around.
Yes.
I thought it was those stupid generator-looking things when they were getting stomped on by robot dogs.
No, those were just anti-armor, which, of course, was not very anti in this case. Because the armor on those goddamn things... Anyway, AT-ATs. Yes, very powerful.
Where were we at? We were at the AT-AT.
Oh, eat a dick. Don't ever say things like that again.
I can't promise that.
Yeah. So that finishes out our dark horses. Then we go into the one... Is this an Avatar book? Which one is it? This is... Oh, we have two Avatar books.
We've
Ooh,
doubled.
Excuse me. Uber 14. Where they finally decide that, yes, in fact, Hitler is fucking dead.
Except
Marcus goes nuts. Anita and Wormer decide to activate another battleship in the caverns. They apparently dump the failures in, which is really fucking creepy.
Dude, you have to... like, look at your life, people. I know you're a fictional, fake Nazi book character, but if part of your job is to go down in a cavern filled with superhero rejects that you help create that might at any point show up and either bugger you or eat you to death, maybe you made a bad career choice. Maybe.
Probably not so much a factor in the career choice as the war.
I'm just saying, you know what? Like, there's plenty of guys out there with the Tommy hat on, like, fuck it, I'll just get shot. Like, I don't know fucking super monsters raping me to death.
It's kind of weird, man. I mean, I didn't take the time to try to figure out where the failures were. I just figured the failures died.
Well,
you know? And then he comes up with this cavern with, like, an altar or some crazy shit. Which creeps me out even more, thank you very much.
not every failure dies, my friend.
Yeah, well, we knew that from Cohen, but... And, the Russian chick.
The thing about Uber that's really impressive is that so often when you're dealing with Nazis, the Allies are heroic by default. It's like, oh, we're all good, awesome, decent people because you're the worst things on earth. And the Allies in Uber, with the exception of how well they did Churchill, are very conflicted, fucked up people.
Well, yeah, they don't want to be in a war. They don't want to do all this shit.
And they don't
They've got the
necessarily
same-
do nice, positive things.
Right. All too true.
So you've just got some wild freaking Nazi antics going on here. And then, as if that's not fucked up enough, Hitler reappears.
He's alive. Now, what the hell is that going to do for Marcus? Marcus is fucked.
No,
Because he explained what he was doing to him.
Yeah, but is this Hitler or did he kill a... Who knows?
You know, I got to figure if he was enhanced, then he probably wouldn't have allowed
Weasley
Marcus,
little fucking
wouldn't have
douchebag
allowed
with a
Marcus to
bad
get as
mustache
far
and
as
a
he
worse
would.
haircut.
He would have fought a little harder.
I'm thinking more along the lines of either he killed a duplicate,
Possible.
in which Hitler's like, well, you know, I guess I had a duplicate with a bad heart, or they've done some fucked up thing to the body, because who knows, like the whole Uber program, like there's some strange shit out there.
I'm leaning toward fucking with the body.
I think it's going to go duplicate, but one never knows.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. You ready for another beer again?
Have you met me?
I just opened this one. Go get some beer.
Yay.
Now that you have your beer again,
Yay.
We'll talk some Caliban.
Caliban.
Number 3. So, we finally got some names up here. I finally reread things enough where I could get some names out of these fucking characters.
I don't care.
So, Malik and Blondie are trying to make the two ships' computers talk because they're the techie people, right? The
Now-
captain, who is named Pierce,
From a scientific standpoint, and-
never going to work.
Okay, that's my initial thought. I mean, this is not as bad as trying to hook a iPro Mac up to an alien
Oh, it's
spaceship.
every bit as bad.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because programmatically speaking, there's only a couple of numbering systems you use in computing. All right, you use base 10 because we got 10 fingers. You use base 2 because transistors are either letting electricity flow or they're not, so they're either on or off. That's what everybody's talking about when they say, "Oh, it's digital, it's either on or off." Nobody ever explains that. I've explained it to you
Okay.
now.
Still don't understand it, but I appreciate it.
And there's hexadecimal, which is
Yeah,
like,
fuck off. That's not even a real thing. You made that up.
it's totally real, dude.
Hecadecimal.
It is hexadecimal. Really, it's true. But every creature's, every alien's, every race's numbering system is based on their appendages because that's what they counted on. So if you got 3, you have to do the math to figure out what a 32 in base 3 is as opposed to a 32 in base 10.
I see.
And then once you discover that, you have to write code that translates that. You're never going to... This is all horseshit. That's why you can't get a Mac Pro to talk to a fucking invader ship. And that's why it's not going to work in this issue.
See-
Except for comic magic.
I kind of wonder at the fact that at least if you're dealing with, and you're right, obviously, like, A, I don't speak computer, B, I barely speak nerd or geek or whatever fucking subsection of this is. But at least if you're dealing with ship to ship,
Yeah.
you've got parallels. And obviously that makes no sense. But at least you know, like
Well, you still need a
navigation,
subset. Yes.
things that you can
Yeah,
theoretically use. Your Rosetta Stone, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you've got a star chart? I've got a star chart. Yours says blurp, where mine says Mars. Therefore, blurp means Mars, where it could be, you know, right or indica. We don't know. But
Right.
theoretically...
In that much, absolutely true.
Okay, so still horrible, but from the perspective of the bad science fiction fan, i.e. me, you can at least be like, okay, this is not the same as hooking up your home computer and steering some shit.
Right. It's acceptable enough if they work hard enough at it.
So that it didn't take you out of it in this scenario.
Not really. But, I mean, I recognized it, but it's not a big enough thing anymore to really, you know, ruin anything.
Okay.
But the thing is, while they're doing all that, right, Pierce is fighting Karien, the possessed one.
Right. Or who knows.
And she kind of fucks him up, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't feel anything anymore. Or if he does feel it, it's just like an academic, oh, well, that was a sensation.
That was unpleasant. I will now kick you in the nose.
He just starts pulling off unnecessary parts, and he breaks her in like 12 places.
He wants to see how much pain they can take.
Yeah.
And then he grabs the lead male black character.
Yeah.
Because science fiction
still doesn't have
sci-fi
a name.
trope is you get nabbed. Goodbye, Apone. If you don't know what I'm referencing, get off my podcast.
Goodbye, Apone.
There's your title right there. But yeah, like I'm enjoying Caliban to a degree.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like blown away. Like I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying. However, this is exactly what I warned you. It is. It is not a science fiction book. It's another fucking horror book.
Yeah, it's horror in space.
Right. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But you were really hoping for a science fiction book.
Yes.
So are you disappointed, or is it decent enough?
Not yet. It's got enough concepts aside from the horror where you can still pull it out from a sci-fi perspective.
Fair enough. It is definitively a horror book first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Whereas
Absolutely.
Alien is a horror science. Like,
It's
Alien
a haunted
really
house
straddles.
story in space.
But Alien does straddle because of the larger concepts.
Yeah. Because of the biology of the creature.
And the thought process goes into it.
Yeah.
So far, and maybe that will turn this back towards sci-fi.
Yep.
But as of right now, we're pretty firmly ensconced in horror.
Yep.
Like, let's break people. Like, we're basically Hostel level horror.
Yes.
That's HOSTEL, not HOSTILE, for
Like-
those of you grammatically inclined. Bitches! Returning to character.
You go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm there for you.
Yeah. So, speaking of science fiction, we got City on the Edge of Forever, the original, unaltered, doctored screenplay. By
Had you read this
Harlan
before?
Ellison. I had not read the screenplay before. So I did not know what to expect. I thought it would be an interesting experiment in how television fiction evolves.
Plus, you haven't really delved into your Star Trek nerd love in quite a while.
No. My Star Trek nerd love, I keep kind of off to the side because so much of the Star Trek stuff is not actually worth talking about.
And the stuff that you love is, how do I say this?
Everybody already knows it.
Right, but what I was going to say is, and I don't, this is going to sound insulting, so bear with me for 1 second.
Okay.
It's almost puerile or childish. And I don't mean that in a dig, but the stuff that you really love was early, like the Gold Keys or the novelizations, which is not great literature or well done.
Not by a long shot.
But you're sentimental because they were fun and it was the only Star Trek at the time.
Yep.
So I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying, like, the stuff that a lot of what you liked, you're not like, oh, I need to revisit that because you're like, oh, this is no fun to revisit.
Having said that, I've burned a hole in your couch.
Oh, thank you for that. It's like a choose your own adventure. You can still be sentimental, but you don't want to reread one.
Now, the thing is, this is only the first issue. So I don't know where it's going to go, but it's barely different.
Well,
barely at all.
There was no drug dealer.
No, there was no drug dealer. There's
a honking big difference.
That's the one crucial difference. You still got somebody going through the Guardian of Forever and fucking things up, and they still have to go chase him.
Now, who was it originally?
It was McCoy.
Did he fall in?
There was an accident in the lab, and he went nuts and went down the transporter. He got injected with something with way too high a dosage.
Ah, all right.
So he went...
Oh, I vaguely remember that now.
So he went through the Guardian of Forever, and they're like, oh, shit, we got to chase his ass now.
But now, because of the drug dealer aspect, what happens could be very different, too. So
yeah.
It is kind of intriguing, and it is...
This is a far better, interesting, more... Hi, how are you? English?
Are you going versus the Star Wars?
Yes.
Yes, this is... I don't give two shits about this. This is way better. I like exactly zippity Star Trek, generally. I like Wrath of Khan and the first fucking new movie, and that's about it.
You like Generations?
No, the first new movie.
Oh, yeah, the reboot.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right.
But
I knew that didn't sound right.
And the other cool thing, and it's unfortunate they didn't do this because the whole show could have gone a very different way if you'd actually had a drug dealer in the future.
Yeah.
In the 60s.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see why they obviously cut this because this is so not Roddenberry at its very core.
Right.
Like, he's like, no, that we're building a better future.
Right.
Douchebags like this are supposed to
Not
evolve
part of
beyond. Although later, post-Roddenberry Star Trek definitely brought all this back in anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to, and again, I watched 0 to no Star Trek, but if you go to Deep Space Nine,
yeah,
I'm sure there's a drug dealer.
Oh, yeah.
episode.
Yeah, there's tons of shady shit going
Exactly.
down on DS9.
So,
but those were all other races, so it still kind of fits.
and you know, there's some scumbaggy human stuff, though, in various ones.
There's always going to be. It's just... But if you think about it, you know, even though he was an anomaly, Mudd did have a drug trade going on.
Mudd had a couple of every trades, but he was adorable. And that counts for a lot.
He's got a better personality.
This guy's kind of a dick drug dealer. But it makes you wonder, like, you have to, like, and this is the power of Harlan Ellison, is you're like, what might have been if they had embraced this idea?
Right.
In a slightly darker Star Trek.
That could have gone a very...
And it could have been a very different show.
Yep. Holy shit.
But yeah, some very cool things. If you like Star Trek, this is a must-read. If you don't like Star Trek, this is still at least well put together, but you're missing nothing.
Nope, not really. But, you know, I'm getting all of them, so it ought to be all right. Wow, it's a big episode.
Yeah, indies always are.
A lot of shit. So, the United States of Murder, Inc. 2.
Murder was the case that they gave me.
The kid dumps his mom out of anger and loyalty to the rest of the family.
I love you, Mom, but I love the mob more.
Yeah. He has to team up with the hit girl. They meet Don Bonavesi, and they talk about the bombing. Now, the kid gives Mom an ultimatum, and Jagger gets attacked. His name was Jagger?
Yeah. There's a lot of strange things going on in this book. I like aspects of the book. The overall dumb concept is so fucking hard. No one gave the mob the New England. I'm sorry, no. Like, when you start with that, there's this big fucking emergency brake plot point that you just pulled before I can even get going. It's like, oh, I want to race down this hill. Mob gave you New England. No. I'm just going to get out of the car now, kick it a couple times, and go back to reading other books.
It's true. It's twacked out. But maybe the execution can work.
The execution is solid. Like, the characters are intriguing. They've made this Black Widow mob chick at least vaguely interesting.
Yeah.
By dumping his mom, they've thrown some depth into the lead character.
Right.
And, you know, like, no, like, I'm sorry, Mom, they might be the mom, but you've lied to me my entire life.
Which is something to say. You know, Jesus, you were born to be a traitor.
Yeah.
What? Oh, hey, man. I wasn't even given an option up in this motherfucker?
Bitches and
No,
hoes.
not really. That's one dedicated FBI agent, though, man. Jesus Christ. I'm going to have a kid and hope that I can raise him to betray everything he knows.
Right, you know what?
What?
I firmly believe that law officers, you know, like, I will fuck for my job.
That is exactly enough of that.
And Franco goes in where the others have been.
You know, Dalton pulled that on me the other day.
Did he really?
Yeah. I'll even show it to you on the text.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Now, Trees 2, which is ostensibly another sci-fi thing.
This is pure hard sci-fi,
Still haven't pulled out any actual science yet.
Yes, but this is weird concept.
Yes. Which is just fine. It's always good to start with a weird concept. But if you then go into mystery flowers growing out of people, that weird research
Not
posts.
people. It was a robot.
It was a robot?
It took me. Yeah,
How did I miss that?
it's because it's obscure. They're using a name, but it's appearing on like the moving robot outside.
So it's
pollen.
That, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not. It took me a while too because they're moving 0 to fucking 75 in terms of depth
Yeah.
in this book.
They have jumped way the fuck in, man.
And the cool thing about Ellis and good hard science fiction, and I hate hard science fiction,
Yeah.
is about idea and real people.
Yep. Absolutely true.
It's not, I'm a laser fighting ninja. It's like, hi, I'm Bob. I deliver papers. Oh my God, there's an alien. I'm going to murder my neighbor and hide in my attic. Real people, weird concept. And that's exactly what this is.
Right.
However, bring a little more, like the 5-page dick sucking between El Presidente and the advertising executive or whatever the fuck the guy was.
That was kind of off.
I'm like, I don't want to read this. I'm sure it's well done, but you're Warren Ellis. Like, Spider Jerusalem should show up and piss on somebody. Like, give me something. Like, make something happen.
There's going to be a lot of setup, I can tell, on this thing.
It is a slow mover, but there's a lot of real thought in this.
Yeah. So I'm sticking with it. It'll be fine. I'm sure
It's
of it.
good, solid world building.
Yeah.
And, like, characters are developing rapidly because Warren Ellis is talented. But, yeah, I need to see something get punched or a fucking tree fuck somebody up. Like, give me some James Arness shit up in here right stat.
Wow, you pulled out James Arness, man.
You're not shocked.
Jesus Christ. I'm not shocked. I'm pleased.
Speaking of not being pleased,
Ugh. This has been going. I'm sorry. This has been going down issue by issue.
dude, I'm waiting for this to die. At this
Doc
point.
Savage 6.
I'm getting all 8, but I literally feel we can stop talking about
really
this at this
killed
point.
me, man. Doc intervenes in some unidentified African nation where Roughneck and somebody with, I don't even know if the guy has a name.
New sidekick. They all have nicknames.
New sidekick number 2436.
And I'm sorry, that is not real hair.
No, that totally isn't.
What the fuck are you drawing that you think that is what human hair looks like?
Samantha and Happy discover a virus that messes with Savage's worldwide assistance computers.
Meanwhile, Savage is dealing with a Savage-level problem, so he can't do anything about it.
Right.
And Happy is sad.
Nah.
No, I'm sorry. Like
The computer, he doesn't seem. It doesn't seem a Doc Savagey thing. Now you know him better than I do, but it doesn't seem a Doc Savagey thing where he would over automate something to the point where it was so vulnerable that they could cripple his ass.
well, they've made Doc Savage. Like we're talking about the same.
He should be have more forethought than that.
No, because we're talking about
No?
the same Doc Savage that this book decided would create eternal life.
Oh, yeah.
And then fuck that up somehow.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
they've already dropped the ball on this. Doc Savage is a genius, and they've taken genius in this book and turned it into dude who has a lot of smarts and no practical knowledge. And the thing, if you've read a Doc Savage novelization or any of the little, magazines or anything in the past, he does everything well. He does it to the point of annoyance. Like, if you are frustrated with that, if the sentence, and then Doc Savage, who had a secret knowledge of this, like, there's literally, I love Doc Savage. They're badly written. Like, let's be clear on this. Like, you will have things where suddenly a sentence like, thanks to the isometric exercises that Doc Savage did for 2 hours every day without fail, he was able to grab the opening plane door and shut it again despite the amazing amount of pressure against him. And you're like, you know what? This is novelization 407, and secret 2 hours of isometric exercises have never been mentioned before. But no, he's Doc Savage. He does every fucking thing well. In this book, he fixes small problems and fucks up huge worldviews because he's arrogant. And no. I will get the last of these. I will finish this out. But honestly, we could stop talking about it at this point. Like, it's breaking my heart. There's no fucking sidekicks anymore. I don't give two shits about Happy and Roughneck. Nor will I ever.
Wow. I've rarely heard you be this disappointed and angry about something you...
Well, because it started well.
Well, yeah, that's
and
true.
therein lies the difference. Like, you bring me some shit sometimes, I'm like, I hate you with the fiery hate of fucking monkey vengeance.
The
There's your
fiery
title.
hate of monkey vengeance.
But this, when you, the first couple, you're like, this is... and you don't give two shits about Doc Savage, and you're like, I like this.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get you to read a book, and now you're like, fuck that dude, man. He's gold, and he's a fucking scientist, and he hangs out with 5 dudes in an apartment. I'm not watching that movie.
Bronze.
Ever. Bronze. It's a bronzer.
He is. He's the man of bronze, right?
He is the man of bronze.
Because you sure ain't fucking brass, Dad.
Well, he might have brass balls, but he's got a bronze body, and... Ew! Like, what the fuck just happened in that sentence?
Now, I'm sure you got to get another beer already? What are you doing?
No.
What are you standing up for?
I'm done.
Done what? Oh, what is this shit?
We'll be right back.
So, the motherfucker dropped the mic and walked off.
Doc Savage broke my heart a little bit, man. I
goddamn.
freely admit it. Dude, I have Doc Savage magazine. I have fucking scripts from radio shows. And I'm not... My love of The Shadow far out fucking weighs my love of Doc Savage. And I still have all this shit. Like... And this is not Doc... Like, there's a guy who's covered in bronze and has a weird haircut and he's really muscular. So theoretically he's Doc Savage, but this is not my Doc Savage. Those of you who are enjoying this, educate yourselves. And there's your title.
Make up your mind.
You have. I like you to have options. You had very few for the last one you put up. So if you can't find a way to make a title out of you, those of you who are enjoying this, educate yourselves. I don't even know who you are anymore.
I'm sure you enjoyed Moriarty 4, though.
I did.
That's more like it.
I did. First off,
Because
anything
we're
is,
supposed to talk about things we like, not things we hate.
oh yeah, I remember you telling me that once.
Bugger the Twitter community of all feel good, don't harm anyone.
Anything that starts with a Francavilla cover is just fucking checking in, like,
Yes.
point A. Like, oh, you have this. It's literally like, at this point, a Francavilla cover for me is like a dude in a van with candy. Like, I'm like, I know I shouldn't get in, but it's candy. Because God knows, if you're smart and you've collected comics, following artists and buying books based on covers
Is a dangerous prospect.
it's a bad idea. It's a flat-out horrible idea. I mean, getting covers of artists you like is a $1 box fucking point, and that's it. Like, yes, I did the Goon for the Jack Davis cover, but A, I like the Goon. And B, it's a fucking Jack Davis cover. It's not going to be in a $1 box.
No. These are all very good points.
But you know what? I love Mike Mignola, but the random covers that he's done, I don't buy all those.
Yeah, unless you find them in $1 boxes.
Like, you bought me that Chaikin Tango cover that Joe Kelly wrote, and
Right.
that was the most confusing goddamn thing. And that wasn't even terrible, but I'm like, fuck it, thank God you got it for me.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that book. I just like, oh, chicken. I guess we'll move forward on that one. So, the thing is, Baron von Hohenmomen, or whatever the fuck his name is, von Hohenstein, and what the fuck is his name?
Hockenspiel.
Yes, Hohenheim.
What?
Makes,
You didn't like Hockenspiel?
No. He makes this impassioned plea to the town, trying to say, look, I know you've got somebody in charge, but he's not doing a great job. I can take care of the townspeople.
You know what I miss?
You watch me. I'll take care of you. You watch.
I miss in literature and culture the douchebag villain who thinks that people like him. And the Baron has this in spades. It's like, look, things are not going well. I'll be there for you. And you're like, no, you rape nuns. You're a giant freaking asshat.
It's all true. He's trying to commit this...
Or
this...
my new insult, CHM. Communist, hippie, Muppet.
He's trying to get an easy coup out of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's just not working yet. The Baroness leads Moriarty to the safe, which is what everybody's been looking for a long time. And it took him 4 fucking issues to get there. Oh, yeah, he's reading a Mickey Mouse comic at fucking summer camp while all the rest of the kids play in the water.
Well, considering the
Who
movie's
will
called,
all die.
considering the movie's called Piranha, the comic reader
Is
the
the
smartest
survivor.
guy in the
Yeah,
room.
That's right. Look at that. Dell Gold Key Mickey Mouse, baby.
Dude, I had some of those.
I'm sure. Look, she's got a whole pile of the things. That's awesome.
Is that a guy or a girl? It's the 70s.
That's a girl.
So, okay.
Yes, it's the 70s haircut, but that's a girl.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Aw, he's going to make her die.
Stupid Paul
She
Bartel.
just wants to read. That's fucked up. So anyway, Sarah continues plotting with the kid. Now, the kid is a bit of a pain in the ass, because...
The kid is the one glaring problem I have with this book. Like, I feel like the Moriarty plot points are really moving well and interesting.
Yeah.
The genius level kid out of nowhere is some confusingly bizarre shit. It's like, I'm Moriarty Jr. Like, where, like...
Discount Moriarty Jr.
Right, like, I went into a bar, I vaguely considered banging your mom, somebody killed her, so I took you, and now you're like super smart and trying to thwart me.
And vicious and shit, man. He slices up poor Gustav.
The kid, like, so, and that really throws me because I'm like, where did this fucking kid come from? Like, what the fuck? But it's a great book. I'm totally enjoying it. It is, however, I suspect for many people, a graphic read. It's a convoluted fucking
you
plot.
really need to, and unless you're paying massive attention and writing things down like us, you really need to get all this shit in one sitting.
Like, if you were going to pick these up, would you buy individual or would you buy...
Knowing what I know now, I'd go graphic.
Unless you found them all together.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because they'll invariably cheaper at that point.
But yeah, it's a graphic
Look at
read.
them Duke boys on that screen, man. We're not even close to closing in, dude.
No, there's miles to go.
Now, I want you to do the whole thing with Big Trouble in Little China because you made me buy this thing.
I loved Big Trouble in Little China. That is an amazing movie. And I'm not thrilled that the first sequel is a comic book. However, instead of your usual horrible, like you got a legitimate professional in Eric Powell. Now I know that you don't love the Goon.
Yeah.
But you have to admit, like, he's a proven commodity in a certain style.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Instead of saying, what was the one you made me read? Die Hard Year One.
Ugh, God, that thing was horrible.
But
yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
So if you're gonna get real people on something, he's the perfect choice for like the light touch, the action, and the bizarreness. So the devil monster that shows up at the end of the movie turns out to be a weird demon dog that has latched on to Jack. He goes back to try and get rid of him, interrupts a wedding. A new villain, vaguely related to the old villain, shows up, re-interferes with everything.
Zhang Wu, disciple of Lo Pan.
Dude, if you don't know, come on. Like, you need to know it's Lo Pan.
Well,
but I thought the art style worked within the...
And we get Jack's marital history, so whatever.
Did you like it?
It was
Did you even
mildly
read it?
amusing. It doesn't grab me to any great degree, but I giggled.
You have to admit that the Powell cover is awesome.
That is really good. That is.
No, I am pretty happy to see it again. I don't know that it will last long term in a comic book, but for now, I am all about it.
Yeah. Now, in the 70s, you could get away with an entire summer camp full of kids getting eaten by piranha in an extended 10-minute scene. While
Now you can't
everyone
even
just
kill a dog.
hands it. Yeah, well, and you couldn't get away with this shit. They give you a fucking X rating for this these days. What, you killed kids? Fuck you.
I like the kid holding the piranha at bay.
That was good.
Yeah, just stay back there, fishy man.
And the comics reader trying desperately to save the day. Booyah. Yeah, she knows what she's doing. Kinda.
Rubber boat.
How often do you see the comic reader saving the day in the 70s?
Like,
Never.
7 to never.
She's got guts, man. Look
You're
at her.
like
She's
a
got
foot
moxie.
from the shore. Get out of the damn water, you jackhole.
It's all panic, man. It's all, they're getting their asses eaten. I mean, like, literally. It's panic. They're 8, 10-year-old kids, man. It's panic. Except those two with the nipples. The counselors, thank you. Just in case you're actually still listening at this point. So, yeah, you liked it. I thought it was amusing. It's worthwhile.
For you to find it amusing, it had to be really worthwhile, let's be honest. Now, going to Stone Cold Awesome.
Skull Kickers 28. Now, like usual, things have gone awry for the team.
Really, only the dwarf. Like, everybody else is doing fine. Like, basically, Jim Zub hates dwarves, is what this comes across as.
Or he loves them with an undying passion. Because he let them resurrect. He got squished between the stones of justice, and now he's literally just a pile of goo and blood. But he still talks.
I'm a little like, the dwarf is my favorite character. Like, I think that guy is awesome.
Well, the fact that he can still talk is taken as a sign that he's innocent and past the judgment. So it's good.
But, yeah, he gets, there's more attacking. The 18 versions of themselves are all arguing. So they pour
Which
him
amuses
into
me.
the armor.
Yes, the war tyke armor.
That was gross.
Just in time for the glacier giants to show up. Wow. And this all happened on the day of DUPERY.
I'm so glad we went back to this book, man. I mean, we had tried one or two randomly, but following the storyline throughout, like, this is just the most fun you can have in a comic book. I'm sorry.
It's way up there. Way up there.
The only thing that is more gleeful in this is Atomic Robot. And if
Yes.
that's the kind of territory I'm putting you in, this is a must-read. Like, for those of you who like fantasy, and that's key. If you don't like fantasy, you're not going to enjoy Skull Kickers. And that's fine. Like,
not at all.
It doesn't matter how well something is done. If you're like, it's a fucking dwarf and a dragon, I don't give two shits, you're not going to get into this. But Skull Kickers is amazingly awesome. It is hysterical consistently. It is well drawn. It is well written. There is thought behind things. Characters are evolving at the world's slowest pace,
That's true.
which is intentional because they don't want... the characters barely have names.
Like the guy with the bandana, I don't know what his name is.
Yep.
I know Rolf. That's,
Bald guy and Rolf.
Yeah,
Like,
the
an
elf. I don't know what the elf's name is.
Now, we have read the first two graphics, so
Right.
and we read, theoretically, a good portion
Somewhere in between
of
here and those.
the fourth, I think.
Yeah,
So we've never seen the third, so maybe there's a lot of clarity in that one.
could be.
Yeah, I'm doubting it highly, but
Doesn't matter. It's so much fucking fun
Dude.
as it stands.
as it stands, we jump back in full feet and it's staying. Like, there's no reason for this book to go away.
Nope, none at all. Now, Manifest Destiny is hooking us up pretty well too.
If I didn't know we were terrible at it, I would lean towards graphics for Manifest Destiny. There's a depth to
I've
the
got
writing.
all this shit on the list, man. It's just getting to them. I haven't forgotten about all these.
Oh, I'm not
graphics
knocking
you're supposed
anything.
to get to.
I'm just saying, like, this is another book that builds slowly, like, it's harder because of the podcast to read certain books. And I'm not knocking the podcast, but what I'm saying is when you read as much in as quick of a fashion as we do, the more convoluted books can be harder to stay on top of.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true.
And Manifest Destiny is a convoluted motherfucker.
It is twisted all to fuck. Now, the team has finally moved on.
From the last thing that tried to kill them.
From the last thing that tried to
kill them. To the new thing that tries to kill them.
Which, and they're in the middle of, they're catching giant ladybugs, and they're trying to keep, the leaders are trying to keep the women safe, because, of course, all these criminals are like, let us at the motherfuckers. And, you know, that's just not proper. But they go through a bunch of the men's history, and it's like, oh, did that. And
they hit on a couple of town people and a couple of douchebags.
Yeah.
It's nice that they taper it, you know. Like,
yeah, pretty much. You know, there's a balance.
Bob the blacksmith is actually a particularly good fisherman. Oh, and George over there murdered his wife and 3 others.
Ah, yes. Good man. So, now, the matriarchal character from the fort that was overrun, Madame Boniface, she talks to Lewis about the true nature of the quest, because she gets the idea. She knows what's going on. And she knows that because she stole his fucking journals.
And suddenly Clark is considering shooting a woman.
Which is absolutely crazy for those. Even with the secrecy supposedly intended, that's crazy for that time period.
I'm not sure about that.
You think? They sit there and Lewis and Clark argue for quite extensively
Clark will
about
shoot anything. Like that. They've made the two characters. Lewis is a scientist first. Clark is a killer. Like they're there. Clark is there to make sure.
Soldier. I don't know about killer.
No, that's the point they're making. Clark is a killer. Think about his fantasy in the horrible womb thing. Clark is a stone cold killer, and I'm not the guy to say soldiers are killers, and you know this. I think that whole argument is horseshit. But Clark is the guy who puts people down.
Yeah, I see that.
So
he's got a vaguely Wolverine aspect.
Yeah, so him. She's definitely in jeopardy.
Yes,
and Lewis, unfortunately, is the big sensitive guy. And you know, you'd never, if your options are the killer and the sensitive guy is usually not reliable to the point you're going to put all your eggs in that basket.
True. He's going to get, oh my goodness gracious. I love 70s movies.
And then, as if that's not enough, the devil frogs show up.
Yeah. They get the boat stuck and they can't get it off of this
second arc.
Giant veggie arc that portends horror.
A giant veggie arc that portends horror. I feel like it's something my mom made in 1979.
And just as they're not making any progress with it, the demon frog shows up.
Now, did you have a hard time not thinking about my space frog joke during this?
No, it did not come up once. Wait, are we giving these to you?
Mostly to me. Occasionally, one ends up with you.
Well, we'll give you them.
I think you have two, and I have the rest of them.
Yes, that's probably it. We're narrowing it down, baby. There's not much going on.
What do we got? What's next?
Saga 20.
Well, that's a 20-minute fucking conversation.
Yeah. So, Prince Robot 4 is avoiding going home, hanging out in a brothel.
Because he has failed at his mission.
He's failed at his mission. He's not happy about it. He can't face his wife and kid. Marco can't deal with the kid because he's just Marco. And
Marco is an amazing dad.
As sensitive a man as he may be, he don't know nothing about no babies.
He wants the child to have a life because he's a good person. And the fact that they're hiding from everyone is not occurring to him as being a real problem. He's like, well, I put a fucking wig on her, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just
try again. It's so...
And he's hiding his horns by putting his entire face under bandages. So, you know, his level of disguise is pretty much Three Stooges.
Yeah, pretty much. All he needs is a Groucho mask, and he might actually get by. Try again there, Marco. Alana, like usual, argues with people. This time, another actor. She starts taking drugs after some weird pseudo-philosophical talk about how acting is all about drugs and altered reality and blah, 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 blah.
Dude, I love that though. Like, I've never been a parent or a refugee / fucking spy from, love spy from a interdimensional war. But if I were, and the word drug came up, my ass would be in the chair like, hand me that shit now. Like, I don't care what you have to do to fuck my world up long enough for me to forget the myriad problems that I have. And I drink heavily and I can still use myriad, kids. So,
So that's,
stay in school.
English skills, baby.
But the fact of the matter is, like, I would be all about that shit. Like, you may judge the mom deciding to expand her horizon, but in that scenario where you're pretending to be a superhero actress on a fucking radio show.
Yeah, which is essentially a web show.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what? I'm on a web show and allow us what we need.
that boat blew up before the other one even hit it. Oh, this is why we watch these shows, kids.
Oh, man. Piranha is Barracuda might have been better than Piranha.
Dubious.
Don't judge your evil fish movies.
So Marco does some dancing because he's kind of thinking about the dance instructor chick with the fruit bat nose.
Well, we are talking in an alien world where whatever goes, goes. Like,
yeah.
The one thing Saga brings home again and again is that it does not matter what you look like, you can have sex.
Pretty much.
Which is both a positive message and horribly fucked up.
Now, the janitor from last issue goes ahead and kills Princess Robot and takes Little Discount Robot Jr.
Well, it should teach a prince, like, when you have a baby at home, go and kill the heroes of the book and don't fucking hit the brothel for 6 weeks. Like, bad plan. You are a bad television-headed robot.
Wow. Title 6.
It's a title-filled episode.
Oh, like
there
that.
you go. There's your title.
It's a title-filled episode.
Son of the bitch.
Oh, this is great. So, Revival. We're almost done with the convoluted horseshit, except for,
No, we're not.
Not by a long shot.
Not at all.
Should we save the one we really hated for last?
I don't know.
So we can go out with a
Here, pause for a second.
bang.
I want to see what we have left before.
Well, I'll tell you. We've got Revival, That's Because You're a Robot, Outcast, and Nailbiter.
Outcast might be the hardest one to talk about.
Yeah? You want to switch it around and get that over with?
Let me look at them real quick. Pause for station identification.
You know what? I should just tell you right now that I hated That's Because You're a Robot.
Fine. We'll just dive right into that. The high point of this book is the slightly Jeff Darrow-like art. The art is not terrible. Other than that, the weird concept, two cops are partners. One is a robot, one is not. They have no idea which, so they keep judging each other.
Yep. And they fight leprechauns and...
No, at that point it just becomes stupid. There's no point going beyond that. Like, here are your basic levels. Everything else is dumb. There's everything that you didn't like about Milligan and Aldred's X-Force is just forced into this one issue. Am I wrong?
It's absolutely true.
Like, this was literally designed to be the Tech Jedi's kryptonite. I love comics. Oh, really?
There's two guys out there who have been listening to us since day one, and I finally hacked them off a little too much, and they've decided to make a book that will be my kryptonite.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to turn them off comics. How? This.
It sucks so bad.
It's like bad buddy comedy. There are robots. There are fucking leprechauns. Like, it's not good on any level. The art is the closest to a saving factor, but it's not like amazing or anything. It is basically a Jeff Darrow ripoff.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, shit. But
with a tiny bit of Javier Pulido thrown in.
I can see that. But yeah, at no point during this book was I like, damn, I can't believe you're not a robot too. The Olio fucking sequel.
Well, luckily, it was a fucking one shot.
Now you did that that was entirely you. That you just liked the concept?
I was like, the concept in the solicits was not anywhere close to what was in the fucking
Well,
book.
how could you predict that? There's nothing you could describe that would have led you to this.
There really isn't.
There is no mecha in I Can't Believe You're Not a Robot. Or whatever the fucking dumbass title is. It is poor. P-O-O-R. You can even have a third O. Poor.
Wow.
You, sir, I don't care for. And for those who think I'm too negative, bitches, I'm a fucking podcast celebrity.
No, you're not.
No. People like this in a weird kind of way.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'll
tell you, I ain't gonna lie. Horror fans are a bit weirder than every other kind of fan. If you can throw some blood at them, some of them won't mind. That will be enough for them. Some of them just want a semi-interesting concept.
Dumb
that's a terrible idea. And other horror fans really need a story, and this has none of them. So, but I mean, the blood might be enough for some people, but otherwise, Piranha sucks as a whole.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of amusing to see my identical triplet there as the lead, but he's done nothing impressive in the entire film except drink out of a
canteen.
That I liked. That's the fucking highlight of this movie. I'm totally gonna buy a canteen just so I can drink out of it now.
Make sure it's a steel one.
Yeah, safety first.
No, because the plastic ones will make it taste weird.
Oh, good point.
We tried that once. Of course we can put booze in our canteens. Nobody ever checks that we put any fucking in our canteens. We're signal soldiers. This shit doesn't save our lives. We're not out in the fucking desert getting shot at. We're in a truck with air conditioning, making sure people talk to each other. What the hell else am I going to put in my canteen?
Come on, man. You want me to make sure that Iraq has
High
KC
C
101? Come on. All right, we got 3 books left.
Right, one of them being Revival 21, which has the usual something different happening every 4 panels. Now, Dana has finally gotten to New York, and that's 1 page. And Raheem is introduced to a reviver that was being cremated when he came back. That's 2 pages.
That was creepy. They made that unpleasant.
M is still hanging out with Rhodey, which is, probably the one pleasant highlight because they're having a good time together. Which is about time for M because she's been gloom and doom for 21 fucking issues. So it's all right.
But on the other hand, you've got...
After 4 pages, we're brought back to Dana in New York, where she goes to a sausage factory, and that's not a euphemism. She goes to a fucking sausage factory where she examines the crime scene of a decapitated reviver.
Let's not forget the fact that, meanwhile, her father, the sheriff, is hanging out with her son, getting creepy phone calls.
Yep.
Like,
Majak and the chief are still talking to each other, trading stories of the Manitou and how they're going to catch the shmoo, which they think is the Manitou, but it turns out the shmoo's in New York. So yeah, that means Dana's got to confront it.
well, how many shmoos if each shmoo is a soul, then every reviver has one.
Right, but we've only ever seen one at a time, and while it doesn't speak, it seems to have semi-consistent motives at best.
It's a very
there's a hard implication that there's
everything
only one
in
of these
Revival
things.
is incredibly convoluted.
Yes.
This is not like dipping your toe into comic books reading.
No, this is not the one somebody's going to say, you know what, if you felt that you needed to get into books, I got the one for you. Let's start you off on issue 16. No, and I get that there are books like that, and you've heard my arguments about jumping into books. This is not one that you can get away with that in.
There's never going to be a new issue, great issue for new readers. Never going to happen.
Not without being utterly on purpose.
I remember reading Starman by James Robinson, and they did issue 29, new jumping on point. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? you're kind of convoluted. And Revival, like at no point you're like, hey, you haven't read this yet. Come in now. It'll totally make sense. Not going to happen, kids. They literally clear up next to nothing ever. So at no point you can be like, oh, I can just totally pick this up.
No, this really is one of the ones you gotta get the trade and call it even.
Do your homework. Do some side reading.
No, you don't even
buy
have
your
to
Tibetan
do that.
Book of the Dead.
You're going too far with that. Just get the first trade and call it even.
Yeah,
that's all. I mean, Fables was on 60-something when we started it. We got the first trade. We moved forward.
Well, no, we got the fourth trade.
Was it?
You remember I bought March of the Wooden Soldiers used. I brought it home, and you fell madly in love with that book.
Yeah, but I mean, that was a distinct enough storyline, and they did enough old school comic storytelling that it was no effort to pick that shit up at all.
Yeah, no, you went back. I mean, a couple things obviously became more clear when you read the earlier ones, but for the most part, it was a self-contained
he explained
story.
it. He said, look, there's these fantastical creatures who come from all the stories you've ever heard, and they live in New York in a secret society, and this other thing happened here. He made it very clear what was going on there.
But Revival
we got lucky on that.
Revival is exactly what I've been arguing for in a long time, which is that there are not 6-issue or 5-issue story arcs.
Yeah.
There have been arcs, but there's so much other shit. Like, if you were just to buy, like, the brothers are selling body parts.
What?
There's so much more.
There's a whole lot more behind it.
The depth of this is insane. In the membrane.
And I don't mind it.
No, it's a great book. Hack Slash was a debatable book for me, but Tim Seeley with this is a comic genius.
There were points where I was very happy with Hack Slash, and there were other points where I was like, really, man? Nail a Biter, number 2. Now, Warren, the nail biter, somehow, beyond all fucking belief, was actually acquitted of his crimes. The sheriff and Finch, the intelligence guy, go to talk to him, and he kind of rubs his acquittal in the face of the sheriff.
Well, wouldn't you?
No, because that just makes him say, well, now I do have something for you to be suspicious about, because you can't shut your hole about getting off on it. Of it. Away from it. Getting off the charges. Whatever.
Dude.
Whatever that legally shit is when you get...
You're talking about a guy that they know is not only a serial killer, but chews on people's fingernails to the point where he draws blood and bone.
Yeah.
Like, he's always on the radar. Nothing he's saying is suddenly going to make a cop be like, oh, I should pay more attention to this dude. No. That shit is understood.
Is that a Modesty Blaze show? No, not Borgia. Never mind. Where was I? Yeah. Finch kind of gets pissy with him and throws him on down into all the awful that he's been fucking raking around or creating or however the fuck it got there. And maybe it's animals and maybe it ain't.
Good rule of thumb is don't be an uppity serial killer. Like, no one likes an uppity serial killer.
Eventually somebody kills the teen bully, which is fine with me. So, I mean, you know me and bullies. Fuck that. We hear a lot more about the town's killers, and we find out that Warren and the sheriff went to prom.
Awkward.
Little bit. But, of course, she says that nothing happened that night, and nothing happened after that night. So, while it's something for him to go, oh, don't you have our memories? She's like, yeah, whatever, pal.
Meanwhile, Warren's cop friend is still, or the cop friend that started the whole thing is missing.
Right.
There's, like, it... Considering how much I did not want to read this based on the first cover, I'm quite enjoying Nailbiter.
It was a rough one. That cover was quite disturbing.
I was not happy with you. But so far, Nailbiter, pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah. All right. You want to finish? It is fucking Modesty Blade. Holy shit. My name is Modesty. Somehow I get the idea she's going to be anything but modest in this thing.
Now, how familiar are you with Modesty Blaze?
Not that familiar.
I have a novel. I have not read it yet, but I found one, a British printing.
Ah.
That's in my extent. All right, so
You like the
Outcast.
British printings.
I do, actually.
The main character, Joshua, was possessed and exorcised as a kid. Exorcised. I mean, eventually most kids get some exercise, but whatever.
Demon-free since 2003.
Now, the thing is, he uses this trauma to justify never moving forward despite the protests and offers of assistance from his little sister.
Well, that and the fact that...
We will find out later why that is something that he has no problem justifying.
He did move forward. He got married. Possession has followed it. Like, there was a line in Hellblazer back when Garth Ennis was writing it.
Yeah.
When he there was a storyline called Royal Blood where Prince Charles was possessed by the demon.
Of course he was.
But later on in a separate storyline, Ennis had Constantine talking to one of the characters that Ennis would later horribly torture and destroy. And he was talking about the royals falling apart because the divorce had happened by this point. He's like, well, you know, exorcism leaves some dodgy scars, so he was not the same person. And of course, the, you know, rebel character was all about it. But even though this poor cat has been exorcised, there's some fucked up shit in his past. And his wife gets possessed at some point. And he has to beat the piss out of her, get rid of the demon, and
That's gotta fuck a guy up.
not to mention the marriage. Like, you know, shit has gone sour at that point.
Yeah. No,
I'm
with you.
I'm fairly certain Commodore wife could kick my ass, but if I did clock her because she was possessed by the devil, like, it's going to be hard to talk about that around the Christmas ham. Like, that shit is awkward.
Around the Christmas ham.
Here's the thing about Outcast, though.
Yeah.
We both dived into this because you have a chance to hit a new Kirkman #1.
Which does not happen often.
Now, Kirkman straddles a lot of stratospheres. Obviously, you're hoping for the Walking Dead / Invincible one.
Yeah.
You're hoping not to get the
Amazing Wolfman one.
Amazing Wolfman Tech Jacket Capes one.
Tech Jacket. I forgot about that. Don't remind me anymore.
The thing is, this is a well-done book that is not going to go anywhere, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because what Kirkman is trying to do here, and he's actually quite successful in, is building a legitimate creep factor.
Yeah. I can
This
see
is
that.
unpleasant. This is not a fun book to read. The art style plays into the creepy factor
It
in a
sure
real
does.
way. Like, this is not something like, I can't wait to read the next one. You're like, son of a bitch. Like, we both got #1. I assume you continued on.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to continue with the storyline, but at the same time, like, this is not pleasant. And I don't see a book where you're intentionally trying to creep people out being successful in this market.
It's hard to say. It might end up in niche and last. I mean, shit. Savage Dragon made it to 198 some odd
That's
issues.
true, but you've
So
got
that's-
explosions and lobster guys. Like,
I mean, that's niche of all niche, man.
but what he's going for here is a depth of thinking that does not lend itself to comics per se. And I'm not saying comic fans are dumb at all. What I'm saying though is that this is not comic friendly. The subject matter. He's playing with religion. He's playing with reality. Like, there's some depth to what he's going for here, and it's not done badly. It is not a bad book at all.
No,
but
not by a long shot.
I have a hard time envisioning 100 issues of Outcast.
Yeah. No, I can follow you. It's hard to tell just yet.
Fair enough. And it's not Brit where I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. You know, if he'll eventually work past his insanity and try to become a functioning human being again, then, you know, that'll be worth it.
Now,
So-
how creepy are you willing to let this book get before you walk away? Because just even
It's a possession book, so it can get really fucking creepy. But then again, I mean, what other horror books have I bothered with?
CALIBAN, and that's based on the sci-fi aspect.
Yeah.
The Max Brooks stuff.
Yeah, that's more high concept than horror. That's using horror things to pull out a concept.
I don't know. There was a lot more horror than there was concept in that fucking book, sadly.
It's hard to say. It's one of those things, I'll know it when I see it.
Right. And that's kind of my curiosity point. Like, for me, this book is almost a science experiment of when Tech is like, fuck it, I'm out. Like, because if it starts hitting, women and little kid issues.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
And that's my point, you know what I mean?
Right, I do. I'm with you.
But I'm not knocking the book at all. It is definitely intriguing. It's just really intentionally dark in a very different way.
Right. And maybe I need a dark in a different way kind of thing every once in a while.
Hey,
I don't know.
Worst case scenario, you don't like it.
I stop buying it.
There you go.
Boom.
The power of the consumer.
May even sell it. Whatever. At any rate, that was our last book of the evening.
L'chaim.
And having established that, get off of my podcast.
Bless you, feckers!
And away.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. Find us on Facebook, Stitcher, Twitter under @TheMeanerGeek. Subscribe to us through RSS.
Or we can be located at our own site, www.themeangeek.com. And most importantly of all, you can find us as a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network.
Email us directly at themeanergeek@gmail.com.
Can I drink now?
You may.